Hey there, intrepid explorers and thrill seekers. Welcome to Expedition Essence, the channel that dives headfirst into the unknown. I'm not gonna lie, we're about to embark on a journey to the most haunted corners of the globe. Buckle up, because things are about to get spooky. We're talking about places where history and the paranormal collide, where whispers of the past echo through the halls, and shadows move just a little too quickly. From abandoned prisons to grand hotels frozen in time, we're facing the unexplained head-on. Look, I'm not saying I believe in ghosts, but I'm not saying I don't believe in ghosts either. What I do believe in is a good scare, and let me tell you, these places have goosebumps written all over them. So, whether you're a seasoned ghost hunter or just here for the chills, stick around. And hey, while you're at it, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more spine-tingling content. We're about to delve into the darkness, so you don't want to miss a single terrifying moment. Alright, let's kick things off with a location that practically screams haunted. This isn't just any old spooky spot. It's a place where history and the supernatural collide in the most chilling way possible. We're talking about the Tower of London, a fortress that's witnessed more than its fair share of drama, intrigue, and, oh yeah, executions. This iconic structure has stood the test of time, bearing silent witness to centuries of bloodshed and betrayal. I mean, they weren't messing around back then. For centuries, this place was the ultimate power move. A royal residence, a treasury, and a pretty grim prison, all rolled into one. Imagine the sheer weight of history pressing down on you as you walk through its ancient corridors. Royals, nobles, and even the occasional ghost hunter have walked these halls, and let's just say not everyone made it out alive or, well, fully alive. The walls here have seen it all, from royal banquets to the darkest of deeds. We're talking about a place where Anne Boleyn, the ill-fated queen, is said to still roam, her ghostly presence sending shivers down the spines of visitors. Her tragic story is etched into the very fabric of the tower, making her one of its most famous specters. Then there are the whispers of the two young princes, murdered in the tower, their playful spirits forever trapped within its walls. Their story is one of the most heartbreaking, and their restless souls are said to still seek justice. And let's not forget the countless others who met their untimely ends within the tower's walls. From political prisoners to common criminals, many have faced their final moments here, adding to the tower's grim legacy. It's enough to make you wonder if the very stones themselves are soaked in restless energy. Each brick seems to hold a story, a memory of the past that refuses to fade away. Now, you can't talk about the Tower of London without mentioning the guards, specifically the yeoman warders, more affectionately known as beefeaters. These iconic figures are as much a part of the tower's history as the ghosts themselves. They've been guarding this place for centuries, and let me tell you, they've seen some stuff. Their tales of ghostly encounters and eerie experiences are enough to make anyone's hair stand on end. I'm talking about unexplained noises, shadowy figures disappearing around corners, and even full-on apparitions that would make even the bravest soul question their sanity. The tower is a hotspot for paranormal activity, and the beefeaters have front-row seats to it all. These guards are practically walking ghost detectors at this point. Their keen senses and years of experience make them the perfect witnesses to the tower's supernatural side. One of the most infamous stories involves a guard who swore he saw the ghost of Anne Boleyn, complete with her severed head, walking towards him. This chilling encounter is one of the many reasons why the tower's reputation as a haunted hotspot endures. The poor guy nearly jumped out of his boots and refused to ever patrol that area alone again. His experience is a stark reminder of the tower's eerie atmosphere and the lingering presence of its ghostly inhabitants. So yeah, the Tower of London is steeped in history, soaked in blood, and positively crawling with ghost stories. Each tale adds another layer to its already rich and terrifying legacy. It's the kind of place that makes you want to sleep with the lights on, or maybe just book a room in a different century. The Tower of London is a testament to the enduring power of history and the supernatural, a place where the past is never truly dead. Alright, horror fans, this next one's for you. We're heading to the majestic Rocky Mountains, to a place that inspired one of the most iconic horror novels of all time, the Stanley Hotel. Yes, folks, this is the very place that fueled Stephen King's The Shining. Picture this, a sprawling, isolated hotel perched on a hilltop, overlooking the breathtaking yet slightly eerie mountain landscape. It's beautiful, sure, but there's an undeniable sense of isolation that hangs in the air, like a chill you just can't shake. Stephen King himself experienced this unsettling feeling firsthand when he stayed in room 217. It's said the room was haunted by a former housekeeper who took a liking to messing with guests. King, being the creative genius that he is, turned this experience into a masterpiece of horror. But King wasn't the only one picking up on the strange vibes. Over the years, guests have reported all sorts of paranormal activity, from disembodied voices echoing through the hallways to phantom children giggling in the dead of night. It's enough to make you want to check out early, if you can get a hold of the front desk, that is. Alright, let's get real for a second. We've all seen a skeleton before. Maybe in a biology class, maybe on Halloween, maybe you've got a really metal neighbor who puts one out in their yard every year. Whatever. But trust me when I say nothing, and I mean prepares you for the sheer volume of bones you're about to lay your eyes on in the Catacombs of Paris. Imagine a labyrinth, right? But instead of walls, it's just skulls, femurs stacked like firewood, endless rows of tibias stretching into the darkness. You're walking through the literal remnants of millions of lives. It's dusty, it's cold, and it makes you think about your own mortality in a way you probably haven't before. Unless you're Ryan, then you're fine. Ryan loves this kind of stuff. Section 2, Whispers in the Dark. Alright, buckle up, because we're heading stateside to Philadelphia and a place that practically invented solitary confinement. Eastern State Penitentiary. This place was designed to be the most humane prison of its time, which, considering the time period, isn't exactly a glowing endorsement. The idea was that solitary confinement would give prisoners time to reflect on their crimes and find God. What they got instead was a whole heap of mental breakdowns and some seriously messed up energy. Because when you lock people up in isolation for years on end, well, things tend to get a little weird. And by weird, I mean potentially haunted. Like really haunted. Which, let's be honest, is the good stuff. Let's be honest, folks, when it comes to haunted hotspots, you can't go wrong with a good old-fashioned southern plantation. And trust me, the Myrtles plantation in Louisiana is about as classic and creepy as they come. Built back in 1796, this place has seen it all. Slavery, murder, intrigue, you name it. It's like the writers of Gone with the Wind got together with Edgar Allan Poe and said, let's make a house. And speaking of writers, did I mention that this place is supposedly home to at least 12 different ghosts? 12! That's like a full jury of the afterlife, just hanging out, rattling chains, and freaking out guests. Which, let's be real, is probably what I'd do if I was a ghost. Section 2. Chloe and the Children. Now you can't talk about the Myrtles plantation without mentioning Chloe. Legend has it, Chloe was a slave who had an affair with the plantation owner. And when things went south, as they often do, he cut off her ear. Ouch. So Chloe did what any rational person would do. She baked him a poisoned birthday cake. Revenge is a dish best served with a side of arsenic, I guess. But the real kicker? It's said that Chloe's ghost still wanders the plantation, wearing a green turban to cover her, missing ear. And she's not alone. There are stories of children who died of yellow fever, their laughter echoing through the halls. And a former owner who was shot on the porch and now likes to peek into guest rooms. You know, just your typical southern hospitality. Alright, buckle up because we're heading to Japan. Aokigahara Forest. You might know it by another name, Suicide Forest. Even the name sends chills down your spine, right? Imagine walking through these dense woods, sunlight struggling to break through the trees. It's eerily silent except for the crunch of leaves under your feet. It's enough to make you feel like you're being watched, and you probably are. See, Aokigahara has a tragic history. For centuries, people have come here to, well, end their lives. That kind of energy, that kind of despair, it lingers, it seeps into the very ground you walk on. Some say the forest is haunted by yurei, vengeful spirits trapped between worlds. They wander the woods, their sorrow palpable, their presence unmistakable. You can feel the weight of their sadness, the echoes of their pain. Section 2. Lost and Never Found. From the depths of a forest we set sail on the high seas. Next stop, the Queen Mary. This isn't just any cruise ship, this is a majestic beauty, a floating palace with a history as grand as her size. But beneath the glitz and glamour, beneath the polished wood and sparkling chandeliers, lies a darker side. The Queen Mary has a reputation, one whispered among the crew and guests alike, a reputation for being one of the most haunted places on Earth. Over the years, there have been countless reports of strange occurrences on board, doors slamming shut on their own, unexplained cold spots, and shadowy figures lurking in the corners of your vision. Some say the ship is haunted by the ghosts of those who died on board, passengers who met untimely ends, their souls forever bound to the vessel. And then there's the legend of the first-class pool. Section 2, Whispers from the Deep. From the vastness of the ocean, we arrive at a place shrouded in mist and mystery. A place where the air is thick with secrets and the past lingers like a ghostly presence. An island off the coast of Italy, silent, still, and utterly deserted. This is Poveglia, a place that time seems to have forgotten, leaving behind only echoes of its dark history. And trust me, you wouldn't want to book a vacation here. The eerie silence and the unsettling atmosphere are enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. Poveglia has a history so dark, so disturbing, it's no wonder it's considered one of the most haunted places on Earth. Its past is a tapestry woven with threads of tragedy and horror. You see, this island was once a dumping ground for the sick, the dying, and the dead. A place where hope was abandoned, and despair reigned supreme. During the Black Death, plague victims were quarantined here, their bodies piling up in the streets. The island became a mass grave, a silent witness to unimaginable suffering. Later, it became a mental asylum where unspeakable horrors were inflicted upon the patients within its walls. The cries of the tormented echoed through the halls, a haunting symphony of pain and fear. Can you imagine the anguish, the fear, the sheer terror that permeated this island? The very air seems to vibrate with the residual energy of those who suffered here. It's enough to make your skin crawl. The stories alone are enough to give anyone nightmares, but the reality is even more chilling. And some say those emotions, those negative energies, they never truly left. They linger like a dark cloud, casting a shadow over the island. Section 2, Where Shadows Whisper. Locals refuse to set foot on Poveglia, claiming the island is cursed. They speak of it in hushed tones, as if afraid the very mention of its name might summon its dark spirits. Fishermen steer their boats clear, fearing their nets will dredge up more than just fish. They believe the waters around Poveglia are haunted, and who can blame them? They say the air is thick with the stench of decay, the whispers of tormented souls. The island seems to breathe, its exhalations filled with sorrow and regret, and who can blame them? The stories of Poveglia are enough to make even the most skeptical person pause and reconsider. With a history like this, it's no wonder Poveglia is said to be teeming with paranormal activity. The island is a magnet for those who seek the supernatural, drawn by its dark allure. People have reported seeing shadowy figures lurking in the crumbling buildings. These apparitions are said to be the restless spirits of those who perished here. Unexplained voices echo through the empty corridors, whispers that seem to come from nowhere, yet everywhere at once. Some say they can feel the touch of unseen hands, cold and clammy against their skin, a chilling reminder that the past is never truly gone. The island is a magnet for paranormal investigators drawn to its dark energy like moths to a flame. They come seeking answers but often leave with more questions. But be warned, those who venture to Poveglia rarely leave unchanged. The island has a way of leaving its mark, a lingering presence that haunts their thoughts. The island has a way of getting under your skin, of burrowing into your thoughts and dreams. It becomes a part of you, a dark shadow that follows you long after you've left. It's a stark reminder that some places are best left undisturbed, their secrets buried beneath layers of history and sorrow. Poveglia is one such place, a silent sentinel to the horrors of the past. Alright folks, buckle up because we're headed to the Canadian Rockies, home to stunning views, pristine wilderness, and the Banff Springs Hotel. This place is like a postcard, if postcards had ghosts, which, let's be honest, would make them way more interesting. Built in 1888, the Banff Springs has seen its fair share of guests, some of whom apparently never checked out. Guests report flickering lights, doors slamming shut on their own, and even full-bodied apparitions roaming the halls. But hey, maybe those are just the after effects of one too many maple syrup shots at the hotel bar, right? I'm just kidding. Mostly. One of the most famous ghostly residents is a bride who supposedly fell down the stairs on her wedding day. Now she spends her afterlife wandering the halls in her wedding dress, probably still fuming about the whole tripping to your death thing. Can you blame her? Stairs are a death trap, man, especially in a flowing white dress. And if that wasn't enough, there's also the story of Sam Macaulay, a former bellhop who continues to serve guests even in death. People say he helps with luggage and even knocks on doors before disappearing into thin air. Talk about dedication to customer service even in the afterlife. From the chilly peaks of Canada, where the air is crisp and the landscapes are breathtakingly serene, we're hopping across the pond to good old England, a land where history and hauntings go hand in hand like tea and biscuits. England, with its rolling hills and ancient architecture, is a place where the past never truly stays buried. Nestled in the picturesque Gloucestershire countryside, you'll find the ancient Ram Inn, a place that's as charming as it is terrifying. This inn, with its quaint exterior, hides a dark and sinister history that has intrigued and terrified visitors for centuries. Built in 1145, this unassuming inn has seen it all: murders, suicides, and enough paranormal activity to make even the most hardened skeptics sleep with the lights on. Its walls have absorbed the echoes of countless tragedies, creating an atmosphere thick with unease. We're talking centuries of bad vibes soaked into the very foundation. The very stones of the building seem to whisper tales of sorrow and despair. Legend has it that the inn sits on a pagan burial ground, and some even believe it's built over a crossroads of ley lines, which are like energy highways for the supernatural. These ley lines are thought to amplify paranormal activity, making the inn a hotspot for ghostly encounters. So, basically, this place is like a spiritual Grand Central Station for ghosts. Spirits from different eras and backgrounds seem to converge here, creating a melting pot of paranormal phenomena. Not exactly the kind of place you want to be stuck waiting for a train, am I right? The eerie silence and the feeling of being watched can send chills down anyone's spine. Over the years, guests and staff have reported countless strange occurrences: disembodied voices, objects moving on their own, and even full-bodied apparitions. These experiences have been so frequent that they've become almost a part of the inn's daily routine. One room, known as the Witch's Room, is said to be haunted by the spirit of a woman accused of witchcraft and burned at the stake in the 1500s. Her presence is often felt as a cold, oppressive force that makes the room feel unwelcoming. Talk about holding a grudge. The energy in this room is so intense that even the bravest souls find it hard to stay for long. But the real terror at the ancient Ram Inn unfolds in the dead of night. When the sun sets and darkness envelops the inn, the spirits seem to become more active, as if the night gives them strength. Guests have reported being dragged from their beds by unseen forces, waking up to ghostly figures standing over them, and feeling an overwhelming sense of dread. These experiences are so vivid and terrifying that they leave a lasting impression on those who encounter them. Honestly, who needs caffeine when you have that kind of adrenaline rush to start your day? The fear and excitement of these encounters can be both exhilarating and exhausting. One of the most infamous incidents involved a paranormal investigator who claimed to have been physically attacked by an unseen entity. This investigator, who had faced many haunted locations before, found the experience at the ancient Ram Inn to be uniquely terrifying. He left the inn shaken and bruised, vowing never to return. His story has become a cautionary tale for those who dare to explore the inn's haunted halls. And let's be real, if a paranormal investigator is running scared, you know it's gotta be bad. Their job is to face the unknown, so when they flee, it speaks volumes about the intensity of the hauntings. Despite its haunted reputation, the ancient Ram Inn continues to attract those brave enough to spend the night within its ancient walls. These thrill-seekers are drawn by the promise of an unforgettable experience, one that blurs the line between history and the supernatural. Maybe they're drawn by the history, the mystery, or maybe they just got a really good deal on Groupon. Whatever the reason, the inn's allure is undeniable. Whatever the reason, one thing's for sure: a night at the ancient Ram Inn is not for the faint of heart. The combination of its dark history and active hauntings creates an atmosphere that is both thrilling and terrifying. So, if you're ever in Gloucestershire and feeling adventurous, Why not book a room at the Ancient Ram Inn? It's an experience that promises to be both memorable and spine-chilling. Just don't say we didn't warn you. The inn's reputation is well earned, and those who stay there often leave with stories they'll never forget. And hey, if you do encounter any spectral guests, tell them Shane says hi. A little humor can go a long way in lightening the mood in such a heavy atmosphere. Actually, on second thought, maybe don't do that. The spirits here might not appreciate the joke. They might hold it against me. After all, in a place like the Ancient Ram Inn, you never know what might be lurking in the shadows, waiting to make its presence known. Well folks, there you have it. A whirlwind tour of some of the most haunted places on Earth. From haunted hotels to ancient burial grounds, we've explored the dark side of history and the unexplained phenomena that continue to baffle and terrify. Did we miss any of your favorite haunted hotspots? Let us know in the comments below. And hey, while you're at it, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more spine-chilling adventures. Until next time, sleep tight, if you can.